Hey, this is Nafka, and today we're looking at the latest 6th edition Codex, Space Marines. Now, this is a first look at it. This is hot off the press. It's just released, and I have to say that this is probably my favorite artwork. I just love the figure in the center, a very commanding presence. The bolt gun still has the smoke coming off from the side. You know, the holes of gunfire, which you may or may not be able to see there, coming through the banner there, and in the background you can see, see the battle raging on behind. You know, the 6th edition codexes have been fantastic as far as artwork, but I think that this really does qualify as probably my favorite. Um, let's talk about the codex. The codex itself is hardback, just like the other 6 editions. It has everything that you expect in a 6th edition codex and more. Okay, this is 178 pages long. All right. It has the opening artwork, and you can see there. At first, when you first look, it's kind of hard to see who they're fighting, but in the corners there and here, you can tell that they're fighting chaos. So, but what a fantastic beginning piece. Let's see, Space Marines. Like I said, the other codexes that we've seen for 6th edition all have been 104 pages plus the reference sheet. This one is 178 plus the reference sheet, bringing us up to 179 pages for this codex. And where it really comes into play is not necessarily in the background and the origins, but it comes into these separate chapters: Ultramarines, White Scars, Imperial Fists, that includes Crimson Fists and Black Templars, Salamanders, Raven Guard, Iron Hands, and of course a small page on the unknown foundings. There is a lot of extra pages just wrapped up in the fluff of these chapters. Okay, then you get into the units, and of course the units are just they're huge. Okay, so you have a lot of units in this codex. There's a couple new ones in there as well. Let's get into the codex and let's just see what some of this is. And of course, you cannot pass up on this beautiful artwork. Okay. I mean, just fantastic artwork in this codex. A lot of it that I have not seen. There are some in here that I have seen, of course. This is really kind of cool. When I opened the book, this is the first page I opened to, and I spent some time reading here. Making of a Space Marine. And it goes over their organs, goes over the gene seed. Then on the opposite page, it goes over the power armor and talks about the power armor and the auto senses, the respirators, and things like that. So really, this is really a lot of fun. I enjoy that a lot. Chapter organization. Of course, we have to have that in a codex. Heraldry, vehicle markings, what they all mean. Now this is interesting. 1,000 chapters. Are there 1,000 chapters of Space Marines? I don't know. There could be. A timeline, of course. And then we get into the first of the chapters in the book, Ultramarines. Okay. Now there's many pages of Ultramarines, and it goes through their background and whatnot, through some history, and then it gets into the successor chapters. Now every chapter that is discussed in this will do the same. It'll go from the founding chapter, and then go down to the successor chapters here, like you see with the Genesis and Aurora. Ultramarines have the biggest selection, of course. You know, the Nova Marines, and of course more. So, fantastic. Now we get to the White Scars. All right, the next one in here. Now the White Scars, you're going to know, is going to be one of my favorite chapters in this codex. I think it is probably the most powerful in there. It has some crazy abilities in there, and I'll be talking about those later on as we get into the chapters and more tactics and stuff. There, once again, more artwork. Going to the successor chapters, you can get a quick look at what's in there. Imperial Fists, always nice artwork showing each one, especially this one with the Tyranids in the background. Look at that. Going ahead, we have the successor chapters, the Iron Knights, Hammers of Dorn, Invaders, A Brother United. Now the Crimson Fist get their own whole double set of pages here, okay? So, which is kind of nice if you're a Crimson Fist fan. And the Black Templar get even more, all right? They get several pages. Now we get to the Salamanders. Of course, wonderful artwork. And then we get to, I don't think there was a successor chapter. And possibly there's not. But cool, anyhow. Raven Guard. Shows how much I know about the actual fluff of salamanders. But always great pictures. Now this one is cool, okay? In this one, you can see they're fighting lots of hell drakes. There's storm ravens in there, thunderhawks. Just very cool artwork here. And of course, but I'm not quite sure what that is. Raven Guard successor chapters. Iron Hands, they get the full layout, the same as the other ones. Even going into the successor chapters. Sons of Medusa, the Iron Fathers. Now these are the unknown chapters. Now it shows 4 here, but in the text in here there are more in here. It discusses more. The Fire Lords, for instance, Death Specters, White Templar, Star Dragons. So it mentions a few more. So if your chapter that you've chosen is not, it might possibly be in there. Now this goes into the chapter tactics. Each one is broken down. Ultramarines get their own chapter tactics, as do White Scars. Imperial Fists, Black Templar, Iron Hands, Salamanders, Raven Guard. Those are who get your chapter tactics, and those are the ones you get to choose from in this codex. And of course, I'm going to go briefly over the units that you have, just kind of taking a quick look. And of course, looking at any cool artwork that there may be. At least some of them. I'm not going to show all of it, but tactical squads, devastators, assault squads, bike squads, attack bikes, scouts. Okay. Veteran squads. A couple pages of that. So you can kind of see there. Command squads. Honor Guard. Terminators, Dreadnoughts, Thunderfire Cannons, Tech Marines. It's pretty much all here. Land Speeders. Now this is cool, your Centurion squads. Look at this artwork on the Centurion squads. See if I can make sure I can get a good focus here. With all the heavy bolter ammo coming down there off the bottom. Very cool. Storm Talons. Storm Ravens, the transports, Rhinos, Razorbacks, and Drop Pods are all there. Space Marine tanks. Now there's 2 new ones in here, and you have seen them, but let's take a look. This is the Stalker. Wait, that's not the Stalker. That's the Stalker. And you can see in the picture, if I can actually get the focus, that you actually have the braces down here along the bottom, and the same thing here for the Hunter. Now I've looked at the things on both these vehicles. I like both. I think they're usable. I'm pretty happy with them. So anyway, Land Raiders, of course, you have the Crusaders, Redeemers, Legion of the Damned, and here are your special characters. Once I find focus. Cassius, Teleon, Kronos, Khan. Now, Khan makes the White Scars very disgusting and ugly. So, like I said, we'll be talking about my favorite, my first pick out of this codex here shortly. And if you follow the site, you've seen me talk about it before. So, Cantor. Of course, you have your Black Templar characters. And of course, 2 special things just for the Black Templar. Okay, looking forward to actually seeing a supplement for these guys. All right, now we get to the armory. The one thing I kind of want to show a little bit is the grab weaponry. All right, it is pretty much as we've seen. AP2, wounds basically based on your armor value. Of course, it goes through the melee weapons. There's a full page layout of showing you, some of the artwork of the weapons. Special issue war gear, armor, vehicle equipment, relics. Everything so far is what we expect in a book, with the addition of a lot of extra information. All right. Now this is the gallery, and I'm going to just zoom through this because I'm already 10 minutes into this video. But you can kind of see here that it goes through each chapter. All right. It has a page on their own. You can even see what these Centurions look like a little bit better than what they show you on the site. So, and then some unknown foundings. Unknown foundings always seem to draw my attention to them. It's just one of those things. So, more full page spreads. This one with 2 different chapters on the table, black and white. That's kind of a cool mix. Alright. The Emperor's Sword. We have the war gear list. And of course, I'm not going to go through the actual, through these pages, except to look at dedicated transports. Out of dedicated transports, the Landspeeder Storm is listed here. Alright, and it's for scouts, holds 5 scouts, dedicated transport. So, other than that, we move all the way through, and again, we have a full page layout for the reference, and that's your book. Alright, that's your first look at the Space Marine Codex. I hope you've enjoyed it. We'll be talking more about this Codex in the days to come, and the things that I find interesting, and the things that come out and jump out at me, and what I would like to field, assuming that I was ever going to actually field Space Marines. But you never know. Those white scars look awful good. So anyhow, this is NAFCA, Fate 212, and this is your first look at the Space Marine Codex. Have a good day.